Hightop Sports, where the takes don't miss. The prof with the stats, the champ with the fist. Swore bringing fire, cowboy tie riding bold. Bulls calling bets, watch the stories unfold. And it's truly eyebrows running the show. It's Hightop Sports, baby.
Let's get it. Let's go. Good evening. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Hightop Sports. Happy Wednesday. Happy best day of the week. Jam-packed show. Gator legend Chris Doring will be joining us here in just a few moments. We've got our guy Swolder Hollywood joining the show. The Gators passed the Gauntlet today. We have been stoked about this, about the possibilities of them not passing it. Of course, we wanted them to pass it, kind of, sort of. We'll talk about that. Show the video. I got goosies when I watched it today. Had me fired up because we've been following it along as much as we could. We got some great clips from the tailgate. Troutwine spoke to what did it entail. We've been kind of asking, what does it all mean? What do they do? He gave a great description of it and how hard it is to really pass. So really excited to talk about that with the guys. And then John Summerall went on another podcast and gave some great insight about where the offensive line is. And Urban Meyer, he was with him on that podcast, spoke to why he chose or what intrigued him, if you will, about Coach John. So great show. Cannot wait to get Chris on here. He was at the award show on Monday with Kirby throwing jabs. So I'm excited to talk to him about that. Excited to talk to him about him and Peters Burns, their rivalry that they do with LSU and Florida. What are they going to do this year? Like, we can't not have that. So we'll see what he says on that. But the boys are joining us here today. We got Swolder and Hollywood. Gentlemen, good to see you. Happy to have you here. We got Gator basketball, so don't expect anything from Hollywood tonight. But Dave, how you doing, big guy?
Yeah, man, doing pretty good as normal. I think watched the ceremony or whatever they had for Spurrier, and I'm surprised there was no like vehicle jokes to Kirby or like driving jokes because
I was right there.
It was like 4 years ago. He said this isn't the standard at Georgia, and then like 4 years later, it keeps happening. So I would literally throw that out there, but I'm shocked that it didn't. But they got some other teacher got in trouble. I can't talk about that on here, but. Other than that, it's Wednesday. It's the best day of the week, baby. Let's get it. Let's go.
Hollywood, I would love for you to do an intro, but Chris is here, and I don't want to keep the Gator legend waiting. So we're going to keep your intro waiting, if that's okay. We'll bring you in after the fact. No problem. No problem at all. Chris, welcome to the show, my man. Good to see you. Happy to have you here. How's everything going, boss?
Good, man. Good to be on with you guys. Heard a lot of great things about y'all, man, and looking forward to chopping up a little bit.
Well, good. I'm glad.
Sure none of them
Allie,
are true, but thank you.
I'm hoping they came from Allie, so it should be good.
Yeah, Allie's legit, man. I love Allie, so glad she connected us, man.
No doubt,
yeah.
She's awesome for hooking us up, man. But yeah, appreciate you coming on. Obviously, you had I wanted to kind of talk to you a little bit about the award ceremony on Monday. Kirby throwing some jabs there, Chris. What was your feeling on that sitting? I saw Spurrier. I feel like he was kind of just taking it on the chin a little bit, but that wasn't a fun place to be for Gators right there.
It was a great night. That was the 5th annual Steve Spurrier First Year Coach of the Year award that has now expanded to multiple other awards. So, in that building the other night, we had Dan Mullen, who was the recipient of that award. We had Phil Fulmer, who we honored as the Legend Award winner. Coach Summerall was there. Doug Dickey was there, who was actually the coach that hired Steve Spurrier and Phil Fulmer in their first coaching jobs back at the start of their careers, former Gator and Tennessee coach and Tennessee AD. So then along with our freshmen, we had Kirby Smart and Mario Cristobal. And really it all started with Doug Dickey, man. I had a chance to talk to Coach Dickey, who is a PK Young grad like myself. And so we talked about him being back in Gainesville. And then I asked him, I said, hey, what was it, Coach, that you saw in Coach Spurrier that made you want to hire him? He goes, honestly, nothing. Guy was just hanging around playing golf and we thought we'd give him a chance. Comes in and we all get fired the next year. He goes to his next job and gets fired after year 1. So it wasn't a great track record. And then got the job at Duke as an assistant and kind of got an opportunity to cut his teeth a little bit more. And we all know what he did when he returned there as the head coach and ultimately to Florida and South Carolina. So it was just a cool night. It started with some barbs, and then Kirby, I invited Coach Smart up to introduce Ellis Robinson, the defensive freshman of the year. He took the microphone from my hand and just decided he was going to turn it into a straight roast. And, it was awesome. I felt bad for him because Cristobal came in and got a chance to just really not pull any punches. And it was a great night. And I think for being in enemy territory, both of those guys were a little bit more, at least appreciated by the Florida folks in attendance.
So
True that.
did it started with, did it start with Kirby or did it start with Cristobal?
Kirby went first and started,
Okay.
going in on him a little bit about not wanting Ellis Robinson and his family to sit too close to Cristobal, given his propensity for stealing other teams' players, and talked about the money that they've been paying. And then, when Mario got the microphone, it was all she wrote, man. He was not messing around. Went in on
The Carson back.
The fact that they were waiting to play Georgia, and Georgia never quite made it to the point where they could play Miami. Talked about the doing NIL before NIL was actually a legal thing to do. Talked about how Ellis should come down there with his family in Miami. Many more restaurants than Athens had, but we caught a little shrapnel from both of the guys, as Mario reminded us that came to the Swamp and beat us 41-17 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And then Kirby looked at John Summerall and said, I don't know what you're laughing at. There's been 4 coaches here in Florida since I've been in Athens. So it was a little humbling night for the Gator fans, for sure.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, I'm glad that it was it felt like it was a fair punching match between the other two. We just took kind of a little bit of a side swap there. But, man, Mario going all in. I love it. I mean, I assume the coaches love it. They know what they're getting into, and there's very few opportunities that they get a chance to have fun, to cut it loose, because typically they're on SEC media days, and they've got to have boundaries, if you will, to stick it.
I think that's what's so cool about the event. It's such an intimate setting there at Spurrier's. It's a limited number of people. The access to the coaches and players that are in attendance is nothing similar to anything that any of the fans typically would get. It's not on television. You didn't necessarily have big media there. So I think the coaches felt more comfortable kind of being themselves and cutting up a little bit. Obviously, it got out on social media and it's got a lot of run, and that was not our doing. That was everybody in attendance is doing. But I think coaches are well aware that everybody's got a cell phone that has a camera now, and those things are open to being put on social media. But yeah, the pub that we've gotten for the Spurrier Awards, I don't think you could have paid money to get what the duel between those two guys has gotten us.
It's brought to you by Doering Mortgage too. So shout out to free. Yeah. So speaking of kind of back and forth and jabs, one of my favorite traditions is tuning in after the Florida LSU game with you and Peter, which hasn't done well for us.
Well for us. Yeah, it has not gone well for us. It's a lot of everywhere I go, particularly with when Peter and I are together, they want to know, all right, what's the next bet going to be? And unfortunately, we don't have LSU and Florida on the schedule this year. But I'll tell you that the hardest one to deal with was the loss in the College World Series, where I had to wear the full LSU baseball uniform, stirrups, hat, the whole thing included, from the Gainesville airport through the Charlotte airport to Nashville, from the airport to the hotel for media days. It was, I had with the flight attendant, it's always good when you get upgraded to first class. I got upgraded to 1B, which is the seat right when everybody walks in. The first person you see is the guy sitting in 1B. I'm there with a full LSU uniform on. And as I'm getting up to leave, the flight attendant says, we're not supposed to bother you guys, but I just want to see, are you guys – Coach, are you on the way to a game or something? I think she thought we were in like high school baseball and you like dress at your own locker room and then take the bus to the game. But it was, everybody was looking at me, and it was one of the more embarrassing things I've had to do in a while.
Over the clown one? That one was tough.
But the clown, those things happen in the studio. So it's
sure.
Like, it's me and PB. It's, a couple of the audio and video people. So you don't really feel the embarrassment. I'm sure, once I'm getting it on social media, it feels a little more embarrassing, but in the moment it feels very safe. But, the one in the airport is very public for sure.
Well, can we circle a game? Because we need it. That's what I was going to ask you, with them kicking LSU off our schedule, which I hate. Can we get one dotted in?
He wouldn't take it in basketball. Obviously, it's a little bit of an unfair fight with what Coach Golden has been able to bring to the rivalry there, if you can call it a rivalry in basketball. But maybe baseball. I think, do we get them coming to town this year? I know LSU wasn't on our schedule, I don't think, last year in a baseball perspective, but got to find something to compete over. And certainly, the fact that we don't have them on the schedule feels weird. The fact that, Auburn was one of my favorite opponents growing up and getting a chance to play them every year. It's the closest school in proximity, the closest SEC school in proximity to Gainesville. We don't play them. So I am excited about the 9-game conference schedule, but I hate that there's a few of the mainstays that we won't have on the schedule going forward.
Yeah, Tennessee and LSU were interesting ones. I'm gonna ask you one more, and then I'll let these guys get after it. But I know, I mean, you're surrounded by this team a lot. I know you and I kind of both are very high on this team last year. I took a lot of things that you said last year about the excitement. I think we all were very excited. It didn't pan out that way, but right now, the momentum is high. They passed the Gauntlet today, which was a big thing that we've been talking about and tracking. We'll get into it, but I don't know how much you've seen or been involved with this new regime, but what's your first impression and overall take of Coach John Summerall, what he's done thus far?
Yeah, I think the interesting thing for me was when it became apparent he was going to be the Florida coach, man, I got flooded with texts from guys that played with him in high school, guys that played with him at Kentucky, guys that played for him at Kentucky, all talking about what a great guy he is, what a great coach he is, and how lucky we are to have him. And I think people immediately saw that in that introductory press conference on that Sunday. I think people went from, damn, man, why aren't we getting Lane Kiffin to, okay, we may have gotten the right guy here with Coach Summerall. And I think he's only further reinforced that with what's happened since then. Maybe the most important thing is the retention of some of the best players, including Jaden Ball. You know, you get Miles Graham back on the defensive side, Vernell Brown. You get Dallas Wilson. Like, so many of these guys have bought into what Coach Summerall and his staff are selling. And I think that is telling in and of itself, you know. And one of my favorite things that I heard actually was that first meeting that he had with his players. There were more MFs dropped in there than there had been in 4 years combined by the previous staff. And every player in that locker or in that meeting room sat up straight, was like, all right, this guy's a little different. So I think he's got the fire. I think he's got he's happy to be at Florida. Understands what it means to be the head coach at the University of Florida. And I think maybe more importantly than anything, has hired the right group of coaches around him. You know, Buster Faulkner, you talk to everybody that's been around him. A lot of people at Georgia singing the praises of him from where he was before he was at Georgia Tech. Brad White, you know, I've followed this guy for a long time, covering his defenses at Kentucky. Love that he got Phil Troutwine back to coach the offensive line. Bam Hardman, I've kind of reconnected with him. I think it's important that you get a couple guys that are Gators on that staff. So I think he's done a nice job of balancing experience in the SEC with some Gator guys and high-profile coaches, some young up-and-comers. It really feels like a great staff that has a lot of continuity together.
A bunch of MFers. I love that. I think
gotta have MFers, dude. You can't play for a coach that doesn't drop MFers, man.
Yeah, it's needed. And I think I'm thinking back to the Hype the Swamp video they edited. I can imagine how much they had to cut out. Because we got a cuss word in there. Wasn't an effort, but this was the cleanest we could get, guys.
I got him going the other night too. Like I that was my first time meeting him in person. We exchanged texts, and I've had him on our show on SEC this morning. The first time in person, I was talking to him, and I was telling a story about Danny, and Danny and I are close friends, but don't confuse. Danny and I are very different in a lot of ways, and certainly the way we talk is very different. But I dropped in an effort to him, and that kind of loosened things up, and then we got the whole cussing flow going. So you can't trust a coach that doesn't cuss, man. Like, locker room talk is important, and I think especially for former players.
This is my happy place. I am a big cursor, and I try to tone it back a little bit because we have kids to watch the show. But I was like, I don't trust anybody that doesn't cuss. I think there's just something that's not wired right. All right, you ain't cutting it loose. Like, I say it, it's like you gotta quit cussing. Like, I didn't even know I said it. All right, so I'm not sure. I think that wasn't me. All right, Dave, go ahead.
I always claim that I have some sort of close to having Tourette's, not full blown Tourette's, but something that causes me to have that propensity to be a lyricist when it comes to using the F word.
Yeah. Actually, I watched an interview with Summerall today, and he dropped the ass word like twice, so I was really happy with that. Anyway. Hey, look,
not the A word, but the
A word, the whatever. But you talked about Buster Faulkner, Brad White, Phil Troutwine, and obviously you've been around Coach Summerall. Have you had a chance to be around some of those coaches? They talk about, like, Brad White he said, hey, look, it didn't take long when Summerall called me. I just had to ask my wife. We were there. Same with Faulkner. He said it was no question. Have you had a chance to talk to those guys and kind of pick their brain a little bit?
I have not. I haven't had a chance to be with those guys yet. Danny, one thing about Danny is, if Danny's coming to town, it's like Doering bed and breakfast. So I gotta, give him a place to stay. I gotta cook him breakfast. He's getting into my supplements, so he's been here a lot, has spent some time over there. He and I are going to go out on March 3rd to the first practice and all, but have not had a chance to be around the rest of those guys yet. But in just hearing about the offense and how different it was from last year, I think sometimes you can get too intricate in what you're doing offensively to where guys just can't play. It's got to be a balance of giving your players an advantage, but letting them cut it loose and be able to play without having to think too much. I think the offense last year, you can talk about the play calling, but I think a lot of the structure of the offense just didn't let the players play to their strengths. And I think you'll see these guys be able to play a lot faster this year because of how they're being utilized.
I think what's important to note, and what you're alluding to is, again, for people who don't know, Danny obviously is a quarterback, and I think how quarterbacks should function is much different than your wide receivers, right? Those are the guys getting outside, they're getting after it, and you need the MFers to bring that out of those individuals. And it felt like we almost had too many quarterbacks on offense, like they were trying to make everybody to carry that mindset, which is good off the field, but you got to be able to cut it loose, and that's where we couldn't tap into that. There was zero killer instinct.
I think the funny thing about it, and you can talk to coaches, maybe most importantly, strength coaches. You got to have edgy guys. You can't win if you don't have at least a few edgy guys. You can't win with choir boys. I was probably, Danny was the ultimate choir boy. I probably leaned to the choir boy side, but you got to have guys that are a little bit edgy, particularly on the defensive side. But yeah, I think it was a roster that had a lot of talent. One of the most disappointing things about what we were doing last year was that there was a ton of optimism about the season. There was a lot of really good talent on the roster, but it was just underutilized talent in a lot of ways. So I do think going forward, you're going to have a little bit of nastiness. I mean, John Summerall is the guy that played former linebacker. Those guys are nasty, and listening to him talk about some of the things that they did when he was playing at Kentucky and coaching at Kentucky, like they got a little bit of edge to them. And I like the construct of this entire program and the culture that they're trying to create there.
Hollywood?
Yeah, so you've mentioned Danny a lot, and I know he was very heavily involved in the coaching search, involved with the John Summerall interviews and stuff like that. Has he been able to give you a little bit more of like a peek behind the curtain as to what they were looking for before they settled on John Summerall?
Yeah, so
and what does Danny think of him?
Let me take you back. So, Danny comes in town. Danny didn't follow football that much. For being a guy that's a Heisman Trophy winner, he did his thing. He played football. It wasn't his life like it is for a lot of us, including myself. And so, he comes to town, and we go to Paisanos here in Gainesville off of University Avenue. We're sitting there, and all of a sudden he knows everything about every coach, and he knows everything about offensive systems. And I'm like, where did this come from? But he's not tipping, he's staying at my house. He's, buying him dinner. He's
eating
not
your
giving
food.
me any information at all.
Yeah.
And then it comes out that he's on the search committee. I'm like, this little MFer, like he's holding out on me, And so got a chance to talk to him about it since. And, it was funny talking to him and then talking to Coach Summerall about their interview. Like Coach Summerall did the initial interview. Like, yeah, I'll do the interview. I'm not going to get the job, but I'm going to do the interview. And he told me, he said his wife overheard, the Zoom interview they did first. And was like, wow, you did a really good job on that. He goes, yeah, I'm not going to get the job. And I think in listening to Danny talk, it's like, we knew right away that this guy was a little special, and I think there was such a focus on Lane Kiffin and this idea that it has to be Lane Kiffin. He's like Coach Spurrier. We got to find, an offensive guy that, they pursued that. But when that thing kind of cooled off a little bit, it was like, all right, let's go to what we know. What we know is Coach Summerall is an SEC guy. He's played in this league. He's coached in this league. He feels like a guy that wants the job. I think that's one of the most important things is like, especially at the University of Florida, we don't want a guy that wants to come in here and use this as a job to leverage to get another job. This is the end job for coaching. And I think that's the way Coach Summerall looks at it. And let's not forget, Coach Summerall's wife is an Auburn grad. Like that Auburn job was open. Auburn wanted him. I think Ole Miss wanted him. They ended up going with Pete Golding, but like he had coached at Ole Miss. There were a lot of schools in the SEC that wanted Coach Summerall. So the fact that he wanted to be a Gator, I think, was maybe one of the most important criteria that this group looked at when it came to hiring.
So if we have a secret, we can tell Danny, is what you're telling me. Is that guy?
Danny can keep a secret, especially from me. We are obviously very close. We room together the night before games when we travel on the road. Roomed again together when we were in Washington during training camp. It's a guy that, has known my daughter since she was a baby. It's like, you've been around, and you're going to come to my house, eat my food, drink my protein shakes, and not tell me what you're up to, man. That was like a full betrayal.
I feel like Dana drinks a lot of protein shakes. I think the supplements keep getting brought up.
I don't think you remember or Chris, but I remember you being at I think you were at one of the Townsend tents one time in Florida. You were standing beside me. I was like, this guy's got to be like 6'8".
I guess, protein. What's protein missing
too?
Yeah, what's funny is it happens all the time. People are like, wow, I didn't realize you were that big. Yeah, of course I'm not. I'm standing next to like Jason Odom and Reggie Green and all these big linemen. But like, at the time, I caught that pass against Kentucky in 1993. I was playing at 6'4", 175 pounds. Like I'm probably 215 now. Played in the NFL at 205. So I definitely have put on a lot more size since then. But to think about playing football in the Southeastern Conference at 175 pounds, I don't know how I survived that 93 season.
Chris, I wasn't even born yet. Go ahead, Hollywood. What do you got?
Thanks for bringing that up.
Hollywood, what did you got?
Don't worry. Dave and I were, so don't feel too bad.
You look great. You look great, Chris.
To kind of get to your point of like the Auburn situation and like John being special, John kind of, and we've used it on this podcast. We think he's a psycho in a good way. But there was all this hoopla, all this social media outrage about transitioning from Lane Kiffin to John Summerall. He says he's never on social media. I tend to believe him, but I'm sure his family was searching social media and they saw exactly what Florida fans were going on. So for them to still sit down as a family and take the job and want to be here says a lot about his ability to want to prove people wrong, and prove himself right.
Yeah, I don't think we haven't seen a turn from that Friday after they. It was Black Friday. You were watching the Mississippi State Ole Miss Egg Bowl, and the word comes out that they're pivoting from Lane Kiffin, and everybody was immediately outraged. And all of a sudden they find out it's Coach Summerall, and they start comparing the resumes between he and Billy Napier. We're talking about Billy Napier 2.0. That turn from Friday to Sunday with the introductory press conference was significant. I think as soon as you heard him open his mouth, you knew he was a little different, and that energy he brings. I agree. He's a psycho in a great way. I'm a Will Muschamp guy. I thought Will Muschamp on the sideline was amazing.
We compare him to Muss.
Yeah,
compare him to Muss.
Will Muschamp, I think he had a tough start with the Charlie Weiss thing on the offensive coordinator. Probably didn't help, and then. Maybe had some of the worst luck since Ron Zook's luck. But I think that, one thing you could say about Will Muschamp, and we saw this when he was the coach of South Carolina and came back to play Florida, the players lined up forever to give him a hug and tell him how, like, his endearing way to the players, the ability to relate and connect, that means something now. And, we could talk about, players being mercenaries and everything else. But at the end of the day, if you can give them – something that is from a pay standpoint is commensurate with what other people can pay you, but you can do it at the University of Florida. You can show them that you love them. You're going to coach them hard. You're going to hold them accountable. I mean, Kirby's doing that at Georgia right now. I love what Kirby said this year. It's like, hey, we're going to coach you hard. We're going to hold you to a high level of accountability. If it doesn't fit you, we'll help you transfer somewhere else, and then we'll schedule that school to play. Because, we know that they're not going to be as tough as what we are. I feel like we're on the verge of seeing that same kind of thing here at Florida.
I love that.
I think the three names that we've heard the most in comparisons, and it's never fair to do this to any new coaches, but I think it's been a lot of Steve Spurrier because Summerall's not afraid to get a soundbite, and he's not afraid to say what he feels. Urban Meyer, and then of course Will Muschamp as well with the fiery competitive nature.
The psychoticness.
Yeah.
If you can mix those three together, and hopefully we have some sort of blend of that, I mean, it's going to be a fun ride. And it's been too long. I think it's a feeling that Florida fans are spoiled and entitled, and maybe we are. But I do think we've been humbled a little bit over the last 10 years or so, and we need to get back to playing in some big ball games. I mean, I could only imagine what a home playoff game in the Swamp would be like in December. I think our fans deserve that, and I think Coach Summerall is going to give that to us.
I love it. Chris, last little bit. I appreciate you coming on. I know you're a baller in the sense of basketball-wise. We play in the sticks with Judd?
I am not. No, let me tell you this. So
I know Judd's a scratch, but
Judd's a very good golfer. Shane Matthews, very good golfer. There's some players that stand out. When I was in the NFL, we play 5 days a week in the off season. Now I got too many damn jobs. I don't have the time to be able to get out there. I did play on Monday and scramble for the Spurrier Award stuff. Hit some redeeming shots and then hit some ridiculous shots. But I do. That is a soft commitment for me, is to try to give time to get back out there, because it's a lot of fun and very addictive, and certainly a great way to get out and spend 4.5 hours with your boys.
So you and Spurrier versus Shane Edge and Judd, you're giving the edge to Edge right now, and Judd?
I mean, Coach is he was complaining the other day about his hands and not being able to swing the club the same way. We'd get drubbed by Shane Edge and Judd Davis right now for sure.
Judd, he lives on the course. He's a baller. I love playing him. He's a good time.
He is. Now on the basketball court, I will say this, though. Go back. I don't know if you guys talked to Shane Edge. Ask him about our intramural basketball team at Florida. I mean, it was me, Shane Edge, Brian Schottenheimer, a few other guys. Like, our team, we were pretty damn good, and also may have led the league in ejections as well. We didn't take foul calls very well either. So,
I've talked to Shane off the show. I know that he's a psycho. I've heard the story of him punching the lineman and breaking his hand. Yep. And I also have heard that he's like one of the most athletic humans on the face of this earth.
I was going to say, it was a team full of white dudes that were dunking on folks out there. So that was kind of our MO.
Hey, Shane's a tough boy, man.
Yeah.
Look, I got this. This is actually signed by Judd and Edge. The plunge.
Nice. Yeah. Look at that.
Little personal one. Chris, I appreciate it, man. Tell him. I mean, not that you need help finding or plugging anything, but if you've got anything you want to let them know. Now is your opportunity, man. We appreciate you coming on and giving us the time. It's been a blast.
Good to be on with you at Chris Doring on Twitter or X or whatever, and CDoring28 on Instagram.
Go Gators, and cheer to MFers, right?
Yeah. Cheers to MFers. We need a lot of MFers in the good way this year, man.
I love it. Thank you, Chris.
Thanks
Chris.
Go
Gators.
Thank you, Chris.
See you, man. Ladies and gentlemen, Chris Doring there with the Florida Gators. Great interview. I mean,
that was great.
Just banger after banger. I mean, we're on a roll right now. That was fun. We got the game on. Everybody's freaking out, right? Like, what's the score? What's the score? Hey,
it's behind him.
Dingle Fritz. It's right here.
It's behind
him. I'm not even listening. I'm just watching the scoreboard behind me. I got the chat losing their nutsack over here. I literally have it for you with the time and everything. Like, what do you want from me? I'm literally giving you an interview of a lifetime, score updates, and it just shambles in the chat. I can't even with him right. I can't even.
I know, like,
but good stuff.
The whole time we were doing the interview, I was watching your scoreboard back there. By the way,
thank you, Dave.
I was.
Don't tell Chris that. We weren't even listening. We were just watching the game.
No, I was listening.
No, that was a fantastic interview. Freaking Danny sitting at his house, eating his food, drinking his protein shakes, wouldn't tell him anything about the coaching search.
Could you imagine, bro?
That's freaking hilarious.
The number one source. And then could you imagine, right? You're sitting at home, the shit breaks, right? And Danny walks out and introduces him, and Chris is eating popcorn. What the fuck? He goes, this son of a bitch led the search? And then that same night, Danny walks in. Danny comes in to finish his stay at the house. And Chris is like, what have you been doing this whole time?
Where have you been?
Yeah. Oh, man.
Couldn't come over for the game. Couldn't do anything. I didn't know where you were at. You were trying to hire a new coach.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's awesome. Good stuff. That was
awesome.
Good. I love getting the fact that there were some MFers in there. I love, look, we're going to get into it. And I think, we're going to play a clip from the interview from today from Urban Meyer. And I think Summerall says that he said it in a roundabout way, but I think he's just tired of saying it as vanilla as he can. But basically, I think he wanted to say that, hey, this team had a bunch of pussies on it. But he can't say it. But he says it in this interview. We're going to play it. And basically, like there was a bunch of choir boys, and we got to get some edgy dudes up in here. You know what I found interesting?
You basically said they were soft.
Yeah. I've watched all these clips, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I could last year, I see a clip, I know exactly who it is. I could see a side of somebody's forehead, what have you, and I knew who it was. I'm having a hard time knowing who is who right now. Like, it just shows you the change of the roster, right? Like, I don't recognize a lot of guys, which is fine. I'm not like, it's just crazy of like, I've known this team forever now, and I feel like I am like lost in the sauce. This is pretty cool. That was just something I noticed today. But yeah, good stuff there. Let's play let's talk to Gauntlet, boys, and then we'll transition. How are we looking? We're looking 78, 67. We're rolling. I figured this is how it was gonna.
Yeah,
I figured this is how it was gonna close out. So good stuff there. The Gauntlet was awesome. We talked about it on our morning show. And then I was hoping that it would happen. I knew it was happening probably during our show. Cody called. He's like, they're going to drop a nasty clip. Let's actually show the clip for anybody that hasn't seen it yet. I got fired up, man. I felt like I was there with him when I saw it. Like, honestly, like I was like, this is exactly how I wanted it to. No like sexy clip, like just as raw and as emotional as possible. Like, so you could see like you were like, I felt like I was there because we've been talking about it so dang much. I felt like we were in it with him. You know what I mean? Take a look here. So what fires me up about that is you can just see the excitement of like, holy shit, we did it. And we've talked about why this Gauntlet's so important because of what you're overcoming during this. And it tests you in so many ways, and it makes you feel like a bum, makes you feel like a loser. And you could kind of see that sense of accomplishment and taste of winning, right? In a really unique way, and bringing everybody together. Like that was like, because we've talked about it so in-depthly on the show, you could see just the excitement. And I remember seeing clips last year of them like, like hyped up in the middle. This was just pure rawness, not like, let's get fired up. Like, holy shit, dude. They've done this like 9 times. I mean, this thing is, and they're supposed to do it on Friday if they didn't pass it again. I'm going to play a clip here from Troutwine describing it, but massive stuff. We had Graham Hall on Monday morning, I think, or Tuesday. And he talked about where he's hearing from sources of like just the night and day difference. Again, and strength and conditioning. We saw that picture flying around of Aaron Childs look like an absolute unit, but very cool stuff. What was y'all's take on this, Hollywood?
Yeah, I think the first thing that jumps off the screen there is just the pure and utter excitement and joy that you get from them. Like you said, they failed it, 6, 7 times before they passed it just now. Or not just now, but this morning. And the team was juiced. And that shows you that they realized we earned getting here. It wasn't just going to be given to him. Like Rusty Witt said in one of the press conferences, he goes, I think we had some guys here that when we started doing this Gauntlet thing, they thought that if they just ran through it, that we would give it to them. And that's not going to be the case. They're going to have to earn their way through this entire thing. So to see the pure excitement and joy and camaraderie with the team in the middle of the indoor practice facility after they completed it was awesome to see.
Good word there. You hear me?
Yeah, I heard you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it was messing my ear for a minute. Yeah, I was kind of wondering. I was like, you think they just let them pass? Kind of, a little fishy. You pass on the last day, but they did have Friday kind of technically scheduled in the books, or we would have had it pushed back. But we did hear they were close. They were close each time. Dave, I'll let you go, and then I'm going to play this clip that was on the tailgate from today from Troutwine. Go ahead, Davey.
Yeah, I just wanted to add what Connor was kind of talking about there. It's like you never really saw something like that with Napier, like a video, and it wasn't really heavily edited either. It was just kind of shot in a cinematic mode, and that's all you really needed for that kind of a moment, because it's such a great moment of, we don't really know what this gauntlet looks like. We just hear about it. So for them to be as amped up about it and jumping up and everything else, probably a really hard thing to do, because we've heard how many times they struggled with it, and finally they pull it off, and now they can practice.
Yeah, and again, I think earning the right to play is something. I think he says it in this interview. I've listened to so many things and consumed so much, but I think John says it. We're gonna play a clip here in a minute where he talks about they were complacent, and I've said that before. It just felt like we were just going through the motions. We just showed up. We had the 7 phases. They felt like, oh, the phases are good. We're going to just do the phases. And if we do that, we'll be fine. And that's the difference here of like, no, like you should be coming in and having a challenge. You should be forced to, every step of the way should be an accomplishment, and you should earn to be here. You should earn to, every single day, you have to earn the right to be here. Just because we recruited you and signed this. And I think that's what got backwards. We've talked about it before, Clark, when I've had you on well before you were part of the show, where kids would get a rude awakening. Do you remember the kid? And I know you're going to remember as soon as I tell you this. This kid committed to Texas, and it was a lineman, I think. I had Ada Mizell on, and Ada Mizell gave these crazy eyes. And you and I talked off screen, and you're like, that kid's got problems and probably won't be on a team because he's just being chauffeured around, and he's going to get a rude awakening once it's set in. And I want to say, was it Kirkland? Was it Peyton Kirkland? All right, so we'll leave it at that. But he has moved on since then, and I remember when that happened, I was like, "Damn, Clark was on the ball."
Oh, sorry,
with that one.
Peyton Kirkland. Yeah, it was.
Hollywood doesn't know. I don't. This guy's art. This is.
I'm not sure. For those that know this as an audio medium and not YouTube, the question was answered, just not verbally.
Yeah.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, good, smooth there, smooth. So I kind of lost where I was going with that, but I felt like we got into the world of like we kind of just sold the sunshine and roses and kind of carried that over, right? And didn't really set the tone of what it would be. And we would talk with Graham of like how important these next few weeks are going to be for recruiting as well, because they're going to really see how what this is all about. Right. And look, kind of, what's interesting is when we would have guys visit during this time, we would see kind of things get turned off. And I never knew why. I just assumed that it was for, now I'm starting to think maybe they're like, yeah, this shit's soft. This ain't for me. I could be wrong, but I think it'll be telling if we get any more commits over the next couple of weeks before the official visits, which is very likely to happen. It could happen. I don't know if it will, but it is
spring game is absolutely a date that you can see. Very common that kids commit at spring games. So I'm sure they'll get at least 1 or 2 more before official visit season. Sorry to cut you off.
No, you're good. You're good. I thought you were just going mute for the rest of the show. The last big one was Xavier Filsame, and that was like 2 years ago, right? That committed on the spring game. And obviously he ended up.
He did, yeah. And then God told him to choose Texas.
Yes.
We
as they all should.
We got a crystal ball from Frederick Arts this week too. Top 100 edge. Yeah.
407.
Yeah. Love that one. Again, for me, edge, O-line, linebacker is a big point of emphasis. Take a listen to this clip, though, of Troutwine describing the gauntlet, which I have been very intrigued with, of what it all entails. And he does a really good description of it, so you can kind of understand what they've been going through and why it is so hard. And it shows you the lack of discipline in his description and the softness, kind of.
We're doing the Gauntlet workouts, which if you don't heard about that, it's just about really just being disciplined. And, we're they have to beat it. It's a whole big thing. I can go over it one time, but they have to beat it.
D-voice. Sorry. You're going to put me to sleep, dog. All right, it's going to restart it. But I was like, man, he's smooth with it.
And we haven't yet. So the problem is we're not going to start spring ball until we beat it.
Wow.
So we got Wednesday and Friday, and if not, then we might have to move the spring game. So, but it's just about like being basically fourth quarter and being able to be accountable. And we were 12 seconds away from getting in, and someone made a mistake. So it's like, that's how far.
That's the accountability aspect.
That's accountability. So it's and you see it in everything. Like he took a picture of the weight room, and all the dumbbells, a couple of them were flipped upside down, and he's like, "This is not our standard." So like little things like that.
Wow.
that maybe just left unnoticed or left, so some people don't see it, but he sees it, and he's very detailed, and he's making sure that everything is on point to winning.
Can you break down the gauntlet? Like, what's it look like, and how difficult is it to complete? Like, why haven't the guys been able to? Because they got to be perfect.
Yeah, so it's basically 6 stations, and you rotate, and you have a group, and you rotate. It's 2 minutes each station, or 2.5 minutes each station the first round. Then they get a 4-minute break. Then they come back the next round. It's 1:45. Then they take a 4-minute break, and then they come back, and they have to be at each station. They have to be perfect for that 90 seconds. And you have to finish the whole gauntlet in an hour. But every single mistake that you have, that takes away 3 seconds off the total time. So you may have 100, whatever, or 60. That's 3 minutes, right? Because 3 seconds.
Yep.
So basically now they have to have it done by 6:57. And so now they're in the last round, and they were in the last round last time with 12 seconds to go. So there was, 77 seconds. Someone
messed up.
Someone did just touch a line, or someone false started, or whatever it is. And so.
Yeah, the little details.
Yeah. That's brutal.
I love it, dude. Hearing him describe it. Yeah. So hearing that they were 12 seconds away, I do believe they got it, because you came in like realizing like that was stupid. That's the whole point of it, is like that's the difference between winning a football game and losing a football game. Is 12 seconds is all that it is. Like you ran out of time because you made a stupid error. You made a stupid false start when you didn't need to, right? Or you didn't get one more step, and all those adds up. And I think that was such a good thing. That's such an awesome part of it, is that every little mistake comes back to bite you in the ass. And it may not seem big in the moment, huh?
A 15-yard penalty in the last drive of the game in the fourth quarter that extends a game-winning drive.
It's the things like that where it's like, yeah, it should feel detrimental. It should feel like you want to puke afterwards and hate everybody. I can assure you they never felt that before in the prior regime. Look, and to be honest with you, I'm sure there's not too many strength and conditioning coaches that are able to tap into something like that. Like, this thing's incredible. I'm wondering, because Tulane keeps it like, if this thing kicks off and how much noise that it's had from us, and look, it's at the University of Florida now, so it's going to get coverage. And if this thing translates onto the football field, and you see a highly just wired, disciplined football team after you saw what Tulane did, you're like, this guy's a crackhead. What are they doing? And it could be one of those things that you hear like, this is now, there could be other gauntlet types that we just don't know about because we don't follow teams that way, and we're like junkies in this regard. Maybe there is, I don't know. I think Army does it because he came from Army, so I'm sure there's probably some facets that surround the league with it. But yeah, I love it. I loved hearing Troutwine talk about it. I think it was really, really cool. So we got a couple super chats, and then we're going to dive into some clips from today from Somewhere All. Great show. Gators did win, so everybody can relax now. I know Dave was literally.
Did Florida win? Oh, they're winning baseball too. Look at that, 11-4. They won that one.
There we go. Hey, real quick, we got 400 people in here. I need all of y'all to do me a favor. We've created a Hightop Sports baseball channel. We have 30,000 subs. How that baseball channel dedicated to the Florida Gators doesn't have 1,000 subs is sickening. Okay,
what?
I'm disappointed in everybody. No one's passed the gauntlet today. And if you're already subscribed, you're at fault for not telling somebody else. So,
yeah, I feel like that guy that was like trying to bench 400 pounds and the thing landed on his chest.
Yeah,
video. Yeah,
$5. Chris still jacked. Ask if he has any eligibility left. I'll let a judge here. I'll get a judge here in Gainesville.
I don't want him running our 40.
Yeah, I bet he's got it. Oh, we should have asked him. Damn it. See if Chris will run the 40 with Prof. Damn it, Tub. Why did I read these before?
Got his number.
Dingle Fritz. When did I say Dingle Fritz? I said Dingle Fritz earlier. Was on a run. Probably.
Yeah. I think it was talking about Danny and eating his food and.
Summer interview was probably in his living room.
Yeah, while he's drinking the protein shake.
Yeah, Dingle Fritz. Okay. We need Todd Golden interview next. Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be great.
That'd be fantastic.
He seems a little more edgy, like not as like loose with it, but it'd still be fun.
It would be.
Yeah, he seems like he'll give you good sound bites still, right? Like I just don't think he
gives great sound bites at pressers.
Yeah, he does. He's got the subtle shit talking for sure. More of a passive shit. I think he's busy right now though. So maybe we wait. He might be a little bit caught up on. I don't know. Maybe at this point, you ask and you shall receive. You know what I mean? Hell, it's like, hey, let's just go down and shoot a ball from half court. Heat check. Let's go ask Tebow if he wants to join the show. Right? Like, what the hell? Let's see.
Yeah, that's a little hard, but yeah, we can do that.
No, we got to just heat check. All right, let's play this clip here. Anything else on this, boys? We cover everything. I think we got it. I think we dialed it up here.
We good.
We got Hollywood's full attention. He's got like a full hour left now, so this is great. This is great. These clips are kind of long, but they're worth it. And shout out to what's the podcast, Davey?
It's third and I got it. I'll get it for you here in a second.
Third and long or something like that.
Yeah, it's
third
triple
option.
The triple option.
Oh, triple option. Something with a three.
This is where John calls our whole roster a bunch of wussies. And real quick, they're sponsored by Wendy's, holla. Look at his look. He's got the driver head cover, the hat, and the football. I mean, just phenomenal placement. Anyways,
so we're gonna pop the hood. You popped the hood on the Gators when you got there to Gainesville. What did you find underneath that hood that needed fixed or that was running really smoothly?
Real quick, punch myself because we asked this question, but I just asked what was good. I didn't ask what was bad.
Under the hood.
I dropped the ball. I asked this exact question. I just asked it one-sidedly. That's on me, boys.
Yeah, I think there were some things going well. I think academics has been really good here. I told the team here in my first team meeting in January, they had a 3.6 GPA. I told them I'd be okay with a 3.0 and more than 10 wins. Like that'd be fine with me. But there have been really good people brought into the building. Like I think sometimes, and Urban can speak to this, having walked into new programs at times, there are good people in this building. The guys that have been recruited here. I think they're of high character.
That's his choir board. Okay. High character. Like, yeah, they're good dudes. I need winners. Okay. That's what he's saying there, boys. That's look, I'm learning Summerall. All right. That's what that means.
Where I feel like we've had to really push the envelope here in developing this team is in the weight room, doing some of the dirty work, maybe to Coach Meyer's comment earlier, becoming a little bit more calloused. I think it maybe it became a little too casual or a little too complacent, a little too comfortable. And so I think those things are probably where we've needed the most attention. That starts at the line of scrimmage. We got a long way to go, man. Like the first workout we had here when we deadlifted, and I went in and deadlifted with the O-line. Like I did the workout they were doing, man. And I'm sitting here going, this is not where we need to be as an SEC O-line yet. We're going to get there. It's coming. But and there's been a ton of growth just in the last 2 months. But the weight room, the strength, the physicality, the toughness, that's where probably I feel like we've needed attention. I think you have to love to compete too. And so in our mat drills, the way we've got them set up, you're paired with another guy all morning. And there's a freaking winner and there's a freaking loser of every rep. And it's scored. And 20 minutes after the mat drills are over, it's on every TV in the building, posted everywhere. So you can find out, were you a winner today or was your ass a loser today? And
that's
because you got to compete every day. I think that's where we have to grow, is we have to grow to where our competitive edge is so fiery that we hate losing more than we like winning. Like you have to be pissed off and hate losing. And so I think creating that is probably where we've had to spend most of our time and attention. It's not on athletic traits outside of the weight room and strength. I think the strength component's one where maybe I was a little bit underwhelmed when I popped the hood, where I'm like, hey, this team's got to get stronger.
All right. Massive stuff there. First of all, for the kiddies.
Hold on.
Whoa.
Are you not entertained?
Yeah. For the kiddies at home, the young man at the top right above Coach John Summerall, that's a dog right there. Okay. That's Mark Ingram. Will run you over and through you. Okay. And so for him to go, that's real. I think that just kind of shows you, like, this guy played for Nick Saban. I mean, he played for some dogs and understand what it takes. Now he could just be hyping it up because it's TV, but that's besides the point. This was very telling to me, which we all thought, and I like that he's being transparent about it. I mean, I continue to use that word transparent when describing Coach John Summerall, but that's a complete just shot to, like, yeah, the staff last before me sucked ass. it was atrocious when I walked in. Bunch of soft ass, weak punks. And hearing him talk about it, he goes, I gotta rewire these guys. Like, I have to literally bring them into a room and make them psychos. That's where he's at. And again, that kind of goes back more to that Green Beret Army-esque style of like, you're shaving all your head, all your hair, and you're going to just walk out of here a robot, or a serial killer. And that's where they've got to get to. And you hear him say that, like, look, not only did we have to rewire their brain, which was part of the gauntlet itself, but then I think he wanted to say, like, I'm lifting more than these kids that are 18 years old, 6'5", 320 pounds, and I'm 45 with a bad back, could be in a wheelchair in 5 minutes, and I'm throwing the same weight as them. Like, this is unacceptable. And again, the winner and loser thing was huge. And honestly, when I hear that stuff, it just makes me more pissed off of where things were. And I'm glad, again, it's just one more component, one more. We'll talk about when I use the analogy of driving down A1A. Okay, just one more nice piece of scenery we've added to the road trip here, boys. Okay, that's what we did there. What are our thoughts, guys?
Yeah, he dropped a lot of ass bombs in that interview. So yeah, it was
the ass words. Yeah,
the ass words.
That was wild. That was wild, Dave. I think you got lucky because we had Chris on here, but for you to use the ass word as the A word was.
Hey, look, man. When you have foul mouth,
you need to be held accountable for you look like a dingle Fritz.
We actually need to make a shirt. We need to make a shirt that says ass bomb on it.
The ass word. Yeah.
Ass word. Yeah.
He goes the ass word.
Yeah, dude.
He dropped a lot of ass words in the interview today.
I have a foul mouth outside of here, so it just slips out of
there.
Yeah,
I could tell. You potty mouth.
Yeah, what the fudge, man. Yeah, like if you go back to last year, I mean, we talked about the returning starters, your Austin Barbers, your Jake Slaughters, Najee Harris. Like, we were all excited about this offensive line. And as you said, he comes in here and he's like, they're not lifting a lot at all. I mean, I'm pretty sure some of his guys at Tulane were lifting a lot more than some of the guys here at Florida. And you saw last year where the offensive line struggled in a lot of games, and we were all hyped up about it. And it comes to show that, it's funny when you hire a new coach, you get to find out what the other coach was missing. Like, when I interviewed a bunch of kids when Dan Mullen was out and Napier was here, they were talking about like the parking and all this other kind of stuff around campus that got fixed. And you were thinking, oh, well, okay, well, Napier's going to come in here and he's going to fix everything and it's going to be great. And at the end of the day, look, you hired Mark Hockey and then you quote unquote fired him, not really, because he was holding a clipboard for like a year, and then you brought in a new strength coach, or you basically just you upgraded from a straight coach from your staff. You didn't really hire in anybody, and then you got a nutrition guy.
No, they did. That. They brought in Craig.
Yeah, they brought in like
Boston College.
Yeah, which I think that was an actual. We would have been okay. We would have been okay.
Yeah, and then like you're thinking all these changes are going to work, and the kids are loving the strength and conditioning, and
like all.
It's like you can love your strength and conditioning coach and you can love what they're doing, but that doesn't mean they know what they're doing. Like, and I think that's not an insult. It's not an insult on like the guys that were here before, but
no, it is. The kids don't know though. They only know what they know, right? So I'm not holding the kids to the accountability because
I'm not either.
Yeah, they don't have a clue. I mean, it was obviously a failure from what it was before, and I mean, to think what this team was able to accomplish with just the raw talent they had, because it sounds like they were working from ground zero. And look, I mean, the offensive line, we had an exercise today on the morning show. We said, like, we took each position group and it's like, hey, we're going to give us a point or a negative point or 0. A point for if this room is improved from last year, 0 if we're kind of neutral about it, and negative, like, yeah, it's worse. It's what it is. The offensive line, we felt like it's worse because we don't know what we've got. Like, it's way off of where it was last year, but in that same breath, I mean, hearing this and knowing about Troutwine, who knows? We could be in for a major surprise. Did I say penis, Hollywood?
You probably did. We should put that on a shirt too.
I think it was a mincing of words that inevitably came out that way. Yes.
Oh yes, Wolf. I do know.
Now all of a sudden you're not mute. Interesting. Okay. Now Hollywood's got something to say. That's great, dude. No, great. Good. Thanks for the help, bud.
I thought that was stupid though. It's like the administration wouldn't let him buy out Mark Hockey, and like I remember being told about that. I was like, why? Like, he's just gonna get paid for free to do nothing. I mean, but I guess the 100 people you hired were getting paid
The
to do
whole
nothing
staff
anyway.
was, Dave. Okay, the whole staff was. All right, so let's anything on that, Hollywood, or you mean play this clip?
Oh no, go ahead and play the next one.
Okay, you want me to say penis again, don't you? This is Urban and
Probably.
his and I think him. I think what's being overlooked too is Danny Cannell, Spurrier, and Urban's. I don't want to say influence, but
Danny Cannell.
not Danny Cannell.
Why would Danny Cannell be involved in this?
All right, Danny Warfel. I got penis on the brain. I'm struggling over here. Warfel and Urban's. Now, what's not the word I'm looking for? Not influence, but
Involvement
with the search. I'm gonna just play the damn video.
Big time places. Every place has got their little niche, and Florida's a tough job. It's a demanding job, and it's got to have the right individual. And so I got involved. I spoke to some other coaches, and then finally they asked me to do some homework. And when someone asked me to do my homework, I am. And I started watching interviews because I think how a person handles himself in front of the camera, in front of the team, is very important. I'm not even sure Coach Summerall knows this, but I did some homework and had a friend of mine gather about 10 interviews that he did, and I had them pick them because I didn't have time to run through all of them. And then I talked to people that you coached against. Then I put out the film. And the first thing I watched was special teams. And then I watched their defense, and then I watched the offensive line. And I wanted to see because I have very strong opinions of what Florida need, what winning programs need. And then I got him on the phone, and it was a done deal after that. I talked to him, and Mark, you'll appreciate this. In this day and age of everybody talking about transfer, NIL contracts, all that nonsense, and it's not nonsense, it's real. But we're talking to a coach, and all he talked about is his strength coach, a Green Beret, a guy that he believed in.
And we just got done, discussing the importance of the strength and conditioning. And I think, there were so many factors that were overlooked, but I'm fired up. I cannot wait for Monday just to see all the fruit come to fruition of what they've been grinding on. This is what football will do to you. It'll make you absolutely just psychotic. But right now, I said it before, I'm going to say it again with today, with basketball winning, the baseball's on a tear. We passed the gauntlet. The buzz in Gainesville is electric, dude. This is, if you're a recruit and you just kind of sense this, like, dude, this is the college town, bro. This is what it's all about. Like, when you're a kid in college, to just walk around and just have everything winning, it makes the experience better. Trust me, from some kid who went to a little last school here in St. Augustine, like, if there was any type of just momentum from a sports team, you just feel better in class. Like, it's weird, but it does masterful things. And I'm sure there's some kids at school now that are watching. They're just like, it's just fun to be here right now.
Sure,
and the same thing applies.
High school recruits that want to see our 40-yard dash.
Who wouldn't want to tune into that? That is must-watch TV. Must-watch TV. Thoughts, Hollywood?
Cody's workouts. He's running his own gauntlet.
Who, Cody?
Hollywood.
Chris liked my text and said definitely fun, so maybe he'll come back. We didn't scare him off.
Nice.
That was good stuff.
Well, it's because you waited to talk about other things after.
Good thing we got penis well after the fact. I'm glad I waited.
Obviously we all respect what Urban Meyer did at Florida, what he's been able to do as a head coach over the course of his career. So for him to sit there and say, "Hey, listen, I talked to this guy," and I'm not surprised that special teams is the first thing he looks at when he looks at film and stuff like that. So it was cool to see how bought in he was at an early stage. And then, of course, everything that we've seen from the point that they did the introductory press conference that Steve Spurrier and Urban Meyer and Danny Warfel were all in attendance for, which I don't know that that's ever happened with any of the other coaches since Urban left, that they've been so all in on promoting John Summerall, encouraging and really open up the lines of communication, because it's been said that they're like, yeah, anything you need, let me know. So to see that they're that invested in this guy's success, bodes well, I think, for the future of Florida football.
It's all hands on deck for sure with this hire. And again, you don't want to get it wrong. And just because you do put all hands on deck doesn't mean it's not going to be. But you want to make sure that you leave no stone unturned, and that's what they did for sure.
And we even just had a student that you put on the screen that said, "Hey, look, it's way better when they're winning, right?" Like, so I bet the parties are phenomenal.
Jaeger bombs are flowing, Davey.
Hey, look, any of you frat houses that see me like walking
He's like,
down,
my tweets of what are you drinking on have been increasing over the last couple of weeks, and I didn't know what it was, but now I know. Kids are fired up.
Yeah, I mean they have look, like I said, if I'm walking past, you see, hey, look, Hightop, hey, it's Hightop Dave. I might come by. I might do keg stand. Who knows?
Dave's over here trying to creep onto a frat party.
No, I'm not. No. I'm a fan of the partying, man.
What?
Hey, look.
He goes, no, I'm not. And he goes, I just want to hang out.
I just want to hang out, man. And like, you know how like they have that Robin Williams one where he's like, "What up?" That would be me.
I want to hang out with the boys and say the ass word.
Yeah.
T-Dub, Hightop softball channel coming soon. Dubster, can we just be thankful for what we do have? Okay, it's never enough. So it's more and more and more.
Yeah, it's like that. How do you do, fellow kids?
B Pill Mill says just became a YouTube member. My man, welcome. I was talking with our DevOps team, which again, shout out to those guys. Those again, I think they would remain anonymous. I am playing golf with a couple of them next Tuesday, so we'll see. I have learned. I don't know if they want me to say this, but I'm going to. One, before I roast them, I want to show how much I appreciate them and love them. But I have learned that we have a type, boys. All right. I thought that Dave and Cody were just our short kings. No, it's the whole staff. Okay, the whole DevOps team. We got a bunch of 5'5", 5'6" dudes running around. Me and Hollywood feel like giants, and then you got Stephen Harris, who's literally he's like Bigfoot. Like it's the range we have is unbelievable. Like
he makes fun of it. Like he makes up for everybody else that's short.
Yeah, he's just everything he gets for us is off the top of the shelf. It's great. It's just I love it. We were talking about it. We were talking about sizes and stuff, and like their physical features that you need to run a 40, and all of them start telling me they're all like 5'5". I'm like, what do we do? we clearly have a type here, and I love it. But I do appreciate them. They're awesome. We're hoping to get this thing up and going here in just a bit. We're honing in on it. It looks awesome. Like,
yeah,
awesome. I don't know if I can show it. We'll just wait.
No. Let him wait. Let him stew.
See if Coach Golden will run the 40 off. We need to put Dubster on the sales team. I feel like this guy, like he would ask anybody. Like he'll just figure it out. Just get it done.
T-Dub, you gonna run the 40 with us?
Oh, here we go. Martha. Hey guys, maybe mention. See, Martha always taking jabs. Look at this. Very subtle here. Hey guys, why not maybe mention that ESPN Game Day will be in Gainesville Saturday? Sorry, Martha. Hey guys, Game Day will be at Gainesville on Saturday. We won tonight. Go Gators.
Speaking of beers,
Martha keeping us in check here.
Yeah,
Dave had a couple before the show tonight.
Beer. No, I haven't.
Dave?
See, this is me sober. Imagine me, drinking.
I'm good.
There's a reason I don't come on the show drunk. We've tried that before.
We waited for the show to get drunk.
There was a lot of F-bombs and everything. It was bad.
Well, I think this is our cue to go. Great show as always, boys. We'll see you tomorrow live at around 7 a.m.-ish for the call-in show. Lot to talk about. The call-in shows have their own flavor and taste. Some people get upset because we don't do it at night. We do it at morning. Look, we bring in a whole new, craft of people in the morning show. It's a good time. Pluto, if you haven't heard Pluto yet, our England bruv. He's a hoot.
Yeah,
he's a hoot.
I've been tuning into the morning shows. I like the call-in shows. The Tennessee guy that did the impression.
The Tennessee Gambler is an absolute treat. He is an absolute treat. I have a feeling that at some point, one way or another, he's going to be a staple of this show. I just haven't figured out how yet. But he was the guy that did the impersonation of Napier, which was great. Real quick, did anybody see the jab that Evan McKissick threw? This guy, somebody tagged me in it on Twitter, and I was like, that was 100%. Let me see if I can find it. He threw a jab at Billy. Nobody saw it. Nobody even heard about it. Silk said, hey, don't wear any black on the sidelines, coach. And Evan grabs a water bottle. And he goes, "Look, I can open it, boss. We're good." Bro, I swear. And the guys like laughed, and I was like, I wasn't sure if they kind of recognized what he just did there, but I was like, that was wild.
I caught
Like,
some
what
of that.
else
I
would
could
he
have watched
mean
the rest
there?
of that.
What else would he mean there? You know what I mean?
Interesting.
Yeah, I caught some of that. I got to watch the rest of it. Shout out to Stadium and Gill. Kiss it.
Yeah, it was great. It was a great interview. I mean, an awesome one. I think we've had so many awesome interviews to getting the taste of it. And for me, the Evan McKissick interview was like us, and this isn't like a shot towards anybody, but like when you think of like interviewing like a punter or a kicker, like it's not necessarily the most like exciting, like flashiness to it, but they're always banger interviews because their personalities are awesome. And that's kind of how I felt. I was like it's the tight end coach, but I was like, and he get great insight to everything. So it was an awesome interview. Go check it out. But yeah, we're working on getting. Can we say who we're working on getting on, or do you want to wait, Dave?
We'll wait because I'm not sure if it's like a sure thing or not. But
yeah, okay. Well, listen, we don't know what we're going to be rocking and rolling. What I do need to do is get Judd Davis on. Judd will be a great. He's awesome. And we can chirp him. Maybe he'll
bring him back on. I love Judd.
Yeah, Hollywood hasn't met Judd, so
Judd's got some great stories. I love his story.
Maybe
he's
on
awesome.
the golf course. Maybe on the golf course someday.
That takes time, Connor. You don't just come walk in and get on the golf course.
That's why I said someday, Shelton.
T-Dub, you can't
someday.
walk.
I said
I don't know.
someday, not Sunday.
I don't know. We'll see. T-Dub, don't run. I'll walk it off. T-Dub, you gotta sometimes. I mean, you gotta slow down, bro. You're gonna give me a seizure with your super chat. I'll walk it off.
Hey, listen, he can type whatever he wants as long as he's donating.
That's true. $5. I put in the Discord. I have a source to make a custom cowboy boots. Hightop boots with Gator logo and all.
That's right down your alley, Sheldon.
Clint.
Right down your alley.
I have to check the Discord. Y'all be good. Great show. See you on the morning. Swolder, Hollywood. Shout out to Chris Doring. Shout out to the Tailgate for their info. Shout out to Stadium Miguel. Go check out the interview. Peace and love, boys. Y'all be good.
Don't miss the prof with the stats.
Don't tell me what to do, Cooley.
Swolder bringing fire, cowboy out riding bold. Bulls calling bets once the stories unfold. And it's truly eyebrows running the show. It's Hightop Sports, baby. Let's get it. Let's go.